I'm going to be looking forward to that for sure. So, but hey, man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And of course, we want to welcome everybody out there in the Sports Fluent Network to the show. Please hit us up with your questions and comments. You got a guy right here who's done it all, from on the floor to on the sidelines to in coaches' meetings in the front offices. And Paul Mokeski, he can give you some great insight. And Mo, free agency today is a lot different from when you played. I know you wish you guys would have kind of had it like this.
You think? I
And
mean, and I
not just
know.
the money, not just
Yeah, but
part
the
of it.
other perks of private jets and all that stuff, and Four Seasons, and that's great. But come on, the money. I mean, Harkenstein from the Knicks, who I love. Plays hard. He's athletic. He's big. He plays defense. He protects the rim. He blocks shots. Dives on the floor. Does all that stuff. But pretty much, has been a backup center. He just signed for $87 million. I mean, please, can I have some of that?
Yeah, yeah. He one of the many deals. Hartenstein, who played so well for the Knicks during that playoff run, 3 year, $87 million deal with the Thunder. And Bo, not only is it a good deal for Hartenstein, it seems to me to be a good deal for the Thunder because he brings some physicality to that team.
Yeah, I mean, they have Chet Holmgren who has been playing center, and he's 7'2", whatever, but he only weighs 210 pounds or something. So he's been playing center when really with Harkenstein, who is 7 foot 280, I think. So you could start Harkenstein at 5 and move Chet Holmgren over to the 4, so he doesn't get beat up so much. And they also added Alex Caruso from the Bulls, who is a hard-nosed defensive guy. So I think they've done a great job because what they did is they added veterans at 2 positions, at the guard position and at the big position, because they have all that young talent, and now it gives them some veterans who can really play and really fit in. Boston showed people how to make a real team. You need all positions filled, and you need backups for those positions. And OKC is now following that lead and giving up some of their 800 million draft picks they have for the next
Right, right.
20 years. So they're actually giving those up and turning them into assets. We talked Thursday about the draft and how draft picks, in my opinion, are overrated. Really, let's face it. Unless you're a top 15, 10 or 15 pick, you're not going to impact the team. There's diamonds in the rough and you get somebody in the second round. Yes, I know all that. But for the most part, draft picks are really just assets that you can use as a team to bring in Alex Caruso, to bring in uh, um, uh, Hartenstein. So that's the smart way to do it. And man, they were number 1 in the West last year and didn't do very well in the playoff. Adding Caruso and Harkenstein will now, if they're a 1 or 2 seed, they're looking at getting to the West Finals for sure and trying to get into the NBA Finals. Done a great job.
And we talked about it. We talked about it all year, Mo. The West was as competitive from top to bottom as I've ever seen it. It could very well be that way again this year.
Yeah, I mean, you got Dallas, you got OKC, you got Minnesota, um, you got Denver, of course, who won it all last year or 2 years ago, whatever you want to say. You got the Clippers, who are a fiasco, but they have a good roster. You got the Phoenix Suns, right, with Beal and
Durant,
KD, and Booker. So and they were nowhere to be seen last year. I mean, the West is the real deal.
yeah.
And
And you didn't even mention the Lakers with LeBron, Anthony Davis, and now Bronny.
Bronny's there, so they're a favorite right now. But the Lakers have a nice roster. I think they're gonna have to decide what to do with D'Angelo Russell. They went after Klay Thompson, who ended up with Dallas, which made Dallas like another
Yeah.
step better. So the Lakers were going for him. There's a couple other players that the Lakers are still looking at, and they can use D'Angelo Russell's 25 million or whatever to offset and get a trade for someone, like that quality. And they'll be. We're going to see what kind of coach JJ Redick is.
Hey, Mo, I got some names for you of guys who are still out there as of 5 o'clock, and I hadn't. These guys could very well be signing right now, but I want to go through some of them with you. Uh, at the top of this list is LeBron James, but we know he's going back to
we don't know that. No, we don't. We do not know that. That's not a given.
That's not a given. What kind of odds are you giving on that?
Probably 90% because they did draft Bronny. And no matter what people say, we're going to keep them separate and it's not going to have anything to do with it. Yeah, bull crap. When they drafted Bronny, and, LeBron has a great house. He loves LA. So, but it's not a done deal till it's a done deal. But I'd say 90%.
I got you on that because it is professional sports and the NBA until the ink is dry. But here's a guy, DeMar DeRozan, Mo.
Yes.
And Mo, you remember he went through a time where people were kind of down on him because when he was in Toronto, they couldn't get past Cleveland with LeBron, and they finally moved on from him, sent him to Chicago, and he really resurrected his game. And he's still a very efficient player, and wow, he could really help somebody.
Yeah, he could help the Lakers, and I know LeBron is talking to the front office, and I think what I hear is he's willing to take a pay cut. A pay cut. Oh boy, like instead of 60 million, I'll make 40. But anyway, he's willing to take a pay cut if they add certain players, and DeMar DeRozan is one of those players. So is Klay Thompson. So I think there's DeMar DeRozan and a couple other players that LeBron would willing to take a little pay cut so they can fill that spot up, and that would be and that's where D'Angelo Russell comes in because they would send him the other way, and that balances out the salary cap. So that's a name to watch here in the near future for sure.
Now, Mo, DeRozan is mostly a mid-range player, although he shot a few threes and shot them actually pretty well for Boston, but he does not take a lot of three-pointers. If you brought in a mid-range guy like that, would that impact the way Anthony Davis plays?
No, I don't think so. I mean, DeMar DeRozan averaged 24 points a game last year. And granted, it was a Bulls team that wasn't very good, but the Lakers need another scoring option. LeBron's getting older. He becomes more of a point guard. AD had a great season last year. They have some rosters, but they need another dependable scorer that can get you 20 to 30 points a night, and that's DeMar DeRozan. He doesn't fit the mold perfectly, but I think it'll be a good move. I'm not a D'Angelo Russell fan. I think he's so up and down and inconsistent and takes bad shots and turns the ball over. But I don't think DeRozan's mid game really comes into effect as much as people think. I know analytics and shooting threes, blah 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 blah. But in the bottom line is, if you can score 20, 30 points a game, you're going to help the team.
Right. And they're both veteran players. They would probably figure that out. Another guy, somewhat controversial, had the off the court issue a couple of years ago. Miles Bridges had a good season with the Hornets. Has worked on his outside game. He's available. Buddy Hield, really good three-point shooter. He's a little older now, but he can still shoot that ball. A younger guy was here in Detroit, Sadiq Bey. Hard-nosed guy, can rebound a little bit, good defender. And he can shoot. He had a 50-point game and a 40-point game during his time in Detroit. uh, Tyus Jones, point guard, uh, Maurice Wagner, Spencer Dinwiddie, Beasley, and Isaac Okoro. Any of those guys?
Caldwell Pope.
Well, Caldwell just signed.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Kyle
Yeah.
Anderson. Kyle Anderson, Minnesota.
I hadn't heard on Cal Anderson, but I will tell you about Caldwell Pope going to the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, I mean he's going to fit in there as a veteran. You know who has to make a move? Denver.
Yeah.
Denver needs to get some players, right? The Joker, and they need help. So I don't know what they're looking at. Minnesota could use some help also. So look for the teams like those teams that have been there and getting close to make some moves, and to add a player without giving up a lot is very hard to do. That's why teams with a lot of draft picks have more play in the trade and free agency market, because there's a lot of signing and trading going on where your player can get the money.
Well, let's hope not, Steve. We don't wish that on anybody, but AD stayed relatively healthy this year, and let's hope he can do it again next year. But
I'll tell you next week, because I'm going to watch Team USA practice over the weekend, so I'll see AD. I'll tell you.
Fantastic! Will they play exhibition games out in LA, Vegas?
Yeah, they start practice on the 6th, that's Saturday. I'm going to meet with Steve Kerr a little bit. Then they practice, and they have a friendly game here in Las Vegas against Team Canada, who is very, 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 very good. And then I think they go to Dubai or somewhere like that and play there's a 4-team tournament they'll play in. But they will play one game here in Vegas against Canada.
Steve, Chris Paul to the Spurs. Hey, and we're going to get to all these big moves, but what do you think about that one, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Paul and Coach Popovich have really got along over the years, playing international coaching. But even I saw a little video of them kind of going back and forth this year, giving each other a ribbing during the game, right on the sideline. But Chris Paul is going to. It never did work in Golden State. I mean, he was hurt. It just never materialized. It was kind of a funky fit anyway. But in San Antonio, they have such a young team. Obviously, they have to build around Wembanyama, which they will. And Chris Paul is one of the past first point guards out there, actually. He scores when he needs to in the fourth quarter, but he's really a distributor. So guess what? That helps Wemby and all the other young players they have in San Antonio. That's going to be a nice move for them.
Hey Mo, you talked about Denver needing to do something, and I think it was another contender needing to do something.
Minnesota.
You cannot afford to sit still in this free agency today. We were texting today, and you were talking about teams that spend money typically find success.
Yeah, I mean, if you go over the salary cap of what teams pay, the teams that pay the most, unless there's a few outliner teams that don't make good decisions, like the Clippers, who are, I think, the third highest paid team Ross salary in the league, and they're like 8th or 10th or whatever. But for the most part, when you look at the top, you look at Boston, Milwaukee, even Miami, Denver, Minnesota not so much, Dallas, OKC not so much, because they have a lot of young players still on their rookie salaries. But the teams that pay the most are the ones that finish the best, and that's just the way it is. Now you have to spend wisely. And you have to use a salary cap, which is very, very complicated, by the way. But if you make the right moves and do the right things, I mean, you're looking at, let's talk about, teams that you can't stand still, right? So the New York Knicks had one of their best seasons in a long, 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 long time last year. And they had one of their best players, Randall, was out, right?
Right.
So he was out. So he's coming back. But did they just stand still? No. They went out and got Mikal Bridges, one of the best 3-and-D wings out there, because they know they have to compete with Boston, and that's Tatum and Brown a lot of the times, right? They re-signed OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
They re-signed him, and they have DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Mitch Robinson, who is their big center, their starter that got hurt. That's why Hartenstein stepped in at the end of the year. But they're not standing still. It really hurts that in my opinion, that Hartenstein took another deal and left them to go to OKC as a free agent. But you only have so much money to spend. But that's a sign of the Knicks, who had one of their best years in many, many, many years, didn't just say, okay, we'll get Randall back, we'll get Julius Randall back, we'll be great. No, they went out and got some good players too. So you can't, if you're sitting still, you're falling behind, in the NBA now.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, look at the Boston Celtics last year, right? They had one of the top teams in the East last year, so they went and got Porzingis, and then they went and got Holiday and won a championship.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do.
Yeah. Well done. And Mo, and they just re-signed Tatum a $300 million plus deal, and Jaylen Brown $300 million plus deal. So they got their two young guys locked up, and now they will try to build around those guys going forward as they try to defend their title.
Yeah, and they're going to have to. Then you look at spots, right? So Porzingis is hurt. They're telling us, and I told people that he hurt himself in the coming back and playing in the finals, which, he had a great game, obviously, and then struggled and got hurt and didn't play, but he tried to play again. He got hurt. They're talking about him not being ready for the opening training camp next year. So, they have Al Horford, who's a really nice backup big, but they need to find another big that can fill in for Porzingis while he's out, and just in case he doesn't come back, if they're looking to defend their title next year. But they have their core, Holiday, Brown, Tatum. They just signed White too. Derek White just signed.
Yeah, $125 million. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all locked up, and now you're looking at, well, what is Porzingis looking at? Do we need to add one more big body to get us back to where we were last year?
Well, hey, team right down the road is trying to come after him. Not only you got the Knicks, but you got the Philadelphia 76ers. They made a big move, bringing in Paul George. They signed Maxey to an extension. Steve wants to know what you think about him now.
Well, Philadelphia, they are no more trust the process. Trust me. Because they're old. Embiid is old and injured, gets hurt all the time, so they need to win now. So that's what they did. They re-signed Maxey, great player. They picked up Paul George to fill in at the wing. They signed Oubre Jr., Drummond, Eric Gordon. Those are all veteran players, right? They're signing veteran guys to go around the beat because they need to win in the next 2 years, or that process. Trust the process. Process is done in 2 years, so they better. They're going after it this year, and rightfully so.
Yeah, it's too early to tell, but who do you think? It's probably not a fair question to ask you right now, Mo, because the roster's on set. But just kind of in general, who do you think the biggest threat to Boston will be in the East? And I want to get your thoughts on your Milwaukee Bucks. Are they in that conversation?
For sure. I mean, Giannis was hurt again in the playoffs. They have all their core coming back, which is one of the best starting lineups and best 7 deep rosters there are out there, which, as we know right now, to win an NBA championship, you need to be about 8 deep, right? Really deep, nice, really good interchangeable players. And that's what the Bucks are, but they have to stay healthy, right? I keep saying the biggest ability is availability, and that's how you get back. So, there's too many question marks. Who's going to be healthy? I mean, if you look at all the rosters, who's going to be healthy? You're looking at Boston again, you're looking at Milwaukee, you're looking at Philly, and you're looking at the Knicks. Those 4 teams. Miami's always around there, but those are the 4 teams, right? Orlando is an up-and-coming team. They're not competing. But if they're healthy with those rosters, those are the 4 teams in the East.
Right. Now, I'm totally with you there. Hey, the Pistons brought back an old friend, Tobias Harris, 2 years, $50 million. Are you surprised he came to a team that, here in Detroit, he'll probably be the second option to Cade Cunningham, but would it have been a better fit maybe in LA for a contender, or maybe he doesn't want that at this point?
Well, I think, trying to get a championship ring, that's huge. But at the same point, you want to get paid, right? So Lakers can't pay him anything. They're already out past the salary cap. So, could they have done a sign and trade with the only sign and trade they would have or wanted to do was with Russell, and Philly doesn't want Russell. They have Maxey. They don't want Russell, right? So that you're trading. Your teams you go to are limited now. They're limiting themselves. So, at this point, I'm guessing that he said, "Listen, I want to start again," because he was the guy. He was one of the guys 2 years in Philly that became not the guy anymore. He hardly even played, right? Yeah. So he had to feel hurt. He was making good money. At the same time, he's going, you know what? I'm at the point in my career where I want to be the guy again, and I can still be the guy. I mean, he can average 20 plus points a game, 8 or 9 rebounds, and he's a good all around player. So at this point, do you go make less money, like 1/4 of what you're going to make, and go to a team that might have a chance at a championship, or do you sign a nice deal, make a lot of money, and then be the guy every night, one of the guys every night? And that's what he chose.
And no pressure whatsoever, because there's no expectations.
Oh, the Pistons are supposed to be top 4 next year.
Yeah,
I think,
right.
But it's the NBA, and sometimes it's there's guys. He's not at the point in his career where I got a couple more years left. I'm gonna go get a ring. He's not there yet. He's at, hey, I could be a 20+ scorer in the NBA again. Even though it's on a bad team, but I'm in the NBA and I'm gonna make. I mean, how much deal did he sign? What did he sign for?
2 years, 25 a year.
$25 million a year. I think we could survive on that. I think our kids would be happy. So, and then, it's not a long-term deal. So he's going to be up and maybe find a place, prove himself. What if he averages 25 points a game? Now, a lot of teams are going to want him. A lot of teams, like in 2 years from now, the Denvers or the New York, whatever, Lakers, one of those type teams, whoever they are at that point, are going to want a player like him.
And the Pistons may be willing to trade him for the right price too.
Sure, absolutely. Depending on how they go, but championship rings are a big draw, but so is money.
It is
set for life.
It is a business.
You're set for life.
Yeah.
If you just don't do stupid stuff and do basic, blue chip investment, just don't do anything crazy. You could do a couple things crazy even for $25 million a year, and you're still not hurt. I mean, let's face it, $25 million a year, you're looking at probably $15 million after taxes. You spend $5 million that year or $10 million, you still got $5 million in the bank, do it again, and you're set for life. There you go. Here's my business plan.
I think I could do it, Mo. Just give me the money. I think I could do it.
I think we could both do it.
Hey, we got the Olympics around the corner, and Steve has a good point here, an interesting point. He doesn't like NBA players playing in the Olympics with all these big contracts, putting them at risk. If you are a GM, would you encourage your star player to go?
I wouldn't encourage, but at the same time, you cannot deny. You can, if you want, and you're an NBA owner, you could deny your player to go play. Now you're gonna have a problem if he wants to
Yeah.
play, right?
He's going to have a PR problem too.
He's gonna, I want to, I've been playing, busting my butt. I want to go play for the United States, get a gold medal. And it's not going to be easy either, by the way, to get a gold medal for the United States. There's good teams. I mean, there's probably 5 to 6 teams that have 6 to 10 NBA players on them in other countries now. But, the other thing is, Steve, these players take out insurance policies from like when I was coaching with the Great Britain national team, we had Luol Deng, who just signed a $60 million deal with Chicago Bulls back then, and we had to pay $150,000 for a policy that if he got hurt, he was covered for that money. So that's what happens with that. So, but of course injuries and stuff. I mean, especially like say someone like Luka, who's really beat up. He's going back to his home country to play to try to qualify. And he just got done playing. So, and if you go and if you make the Olympics start here in a few weeks, and you're going to go into August, and then October you're supposed to be back in training camp.
Okay,
so you're gonna have to play for 10 months, and then have 2 months off and get right back in.
Okay, here's the USA men's basketball roster: LeBron James, Steph Curry.
That's their invite. That's their invitees. They're not. That's not their roster, by the way. That's their invite. The people they invited. Yeah.
Yeah. So and we don't know who's going to come or go, but
yeah.
LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Kawhi Leonard, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Bam Adebayo, and Tyrese Halliburton. You got some guys in there that, I mean, Joel has a history problem with injury. We know AD does. LeBron's up there. KD has had issues. I mean, it is a risk going out there to play.
It's a risk anytime. You could be the youngest player out there with never had an injury before and blow out your knee.
That's true.
I can't remember a few years back, more than a few now. Wow. I don't know if maybe it was Paul George or Butler or someone like that playing here in a friendly game, preparing for the Olympics.
I think it was Paul George.
He shattered his leg. He was out for a year and a half, and it wasn't because he was injured. Playing in the basketball is a risk anyway. But when you add more risk, more bad things can happen. But, the thing that I don't like about the USA team is I don't think there's enough really pure shooting. I mean, Curry is the pure shooter, but I'm talking about in the FIBA basketball, 3-point line is shorter and 3-point shots fly even more than the NBA. The game is shorter. It's 8 minutes shorter. They're 10 minutes quarters, and you can let fly, 10 threes in a row, and you can erase a 20-plus point lead. We all see that. And all these other teams in all the other countries have shooters all over the floor, and we, can LeBron make a shot? Yes. Is he a 3-point shooter? No. Can AD make a three? Yes. Is he a 3-point shooter? No. Right. That's the problem. And I think they should have added, I'm not sure who it would be, but just another, if it would have been Klay Thompson type, some guy that just, he can make 6 threes in a row, that kind of player to that roster, because my prediction is I think they'll get the gold this year. But I think 4 years from now, when it's back in LA here in our country, I think, I don't know if they get a medal.
Whoa, Mo. Well, you can see. Think about this, man. The recent NBA draft. Look at all the fun we talked about it draft night, which was such a fun show, and we thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us the other night during the draft. But it was a heavy foreign influence in that draft.
The NBA, I think now I can't remember. I think it's around 35% non-American players are in the NBA right now. And look at the drafts and look at the countries they're coming from. So think about 5 years from now, it'll be over 50% of the NBA will be non-American players. And they're playing somewhere.
And you had a great take on why you think that's so, talking about the training overseas and the approach here in America. Share it again with some of our viewers who may have not have caught us on draft night.
Well, other people are saying this too. In my opinion, the transfer portal has really destroyed college basketball. And I think AAU basketball has destroyed the development of young basketball players in the United States. Because you go to the best players that play in these AAU teams, they play 60 games in the summer, but they spend very limited time. So you're practicing. So you're looking at, I play on an AAU program, and, I'm there for 2 months or whatever it is. And 80% of the time I'm playing games. And 20% of the time I'm practicing, working on my game, working on team concepts, becoming a better team player. In the overseas, it's the opposite. You play 20% games and you practice and get better 80% of the time. So it's the complete opposite, and it's catching up.
Yeah, but Mo, I mean, I get, so that's creating more fundamentally sound players that come here from Europe.
Yes, I mean, you're playing a game, and also AAU basketball is coached by non-coaches, really. They're shoe company people, or handler people, or most of them aren't coaches. Most of them, are they coach AAU, but that's not really working on guys' fundamentals and working on team concepts, spacing, all this stuff. If you go to an AAU tournament, which the best one in the country is going to be here in Las Vegas at the end of July, right, where all the colleges come, all the best AAU players come. AAU basketball, you watch, it's wide open. Everybody's driving and kicking and shooting or whatever, and making bad decisions and bad passes. And then on defense, what they do is they full court press and then they fall back into a zone. Well, you're not learning man-to-man concepts. How do you stop a shooter? How do you stop a defender? How do you contest the three-point line? And you got most coaches in AAU, they're just there to win games. In Europe, coaches are there to develop players. In AAU, you're there to win games. So I'm going to come win the Vegas tournament. Yeah, but did your players get any better while you were doing that? No. That's the difference.
Yeah. Hey, quick note about Tobias Harris. This current deal for $50 million pushes his career earnings to over $300 million.
I think we can handle that.
For a guy who's he's a good player. I mean,
yeah. So think about this. So he just signed this deal. It's a 2-year deal, right?
Yeah.
So after 2 years, he's going to make, he's going to have total $300 million. And then his next contract, it's a 3 or 4 year deal. You can go play for peanuts, like $10 million.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about it. You already have the money in the bank.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. The Bucks. This is just breaking. This guy's a good player. DeLon Wright, just a role gabbo, good defender, just solid. He makes good decisions on the court. I think he'd be a good fit in Milwaukee.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you do. You've seen him. He played with the Heat and the Wizards last year. Uh, about 6'5", 6'6". He was here in Detroit for a while. Nothing spectacular whatsoever, but he's a pro. And
Yeah, just ask the Boston Celtics how valuable Derek White was, right? He's the same type of player.
Mo, speaking that, I'm so glad you mentioned that. And you were just talking about the AAU. Derek White got none of that. He's the number 10 player in the country and all that. He had one scholarship offer. And now he's a world champion, just signed a $125 million contract.
And does everything right. Hits threes, can drive, can pass, will rebound, plays defense, is a great teammate. Hello.
Well, I tell you, it's a way to do this. It's a way to do this. Valanciunas going to the Wizards. I mean, that's a big loss, I think, for New Orleans, and we still got to find out what they're going to do with Zion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Well, he's going to the Wizards from New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, didn't they pick up a big guy? I think
3 years, $30 million, $10 million a year.
Valanciunas.
Valanciunas, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand why the hell he wants to go to the Wizards. Why do you want to do that? And second of all, why the hell didn't the Warriors pick him up? They have no size. They have no strength. He's 7 foot, strong as hell. Got good hands. When the Warriors were winning championships, they had centers like that to help, right? That's. So I don't understand why don't they go get. I like him as a player, really strong. He can grab you 20 rebounds in a game. And he's got size. So, I don't know why someone like Golden State or someone like that doesn't pick him up. And, I don't know who his agent is, but hell, I mean, so what did he sign for? How much did he sign
for? A cheap contract, 3 years, $30 million.
Yeah.
$10 million a year.
Shoot, I might be able to get $10 million a year right now. I can't even play. I mean, that's like nothing in today's NBA market. I don't know who his agent is. But why the hell did you send him to Washington, a graveyard, instead of getting him somewhere where he could really be impactful and help win the championship? I don't understand that. That's mind-boggling to
me. And the Pelicans picked up DeJounte Murray from Atlanta, and I guess they'll pair him with McCollum in the backcourt. And I don't know what's going to happen with Brandon Ingram down there, and because they're talking about maybe trying to trade him. And hey, what did you think about Zion's play last year, Paul?
How many games did he play?
Before he got hurt. Him most.
You could say that about Kawhi Leonard now, right?
Yeah.
What a great player, won a championship, great playoff guy. What happened? They don't play anymore. Zion's always hurt. Zion was hurt in college. Hello? Yeah. Zion was hurt in college. So you think he's going to come to the NBA, play more than double as many games and not get hurt? Really? What are you thinking? Now, when he's healthy and in shape, and has a good attitude. Those are three things that, when he's like that, he's great. But those are three things that, how many times has he had all those three things in one time? Hardly ever. He's been kind of healthy but out of shape. He's been kind of healthy and in a little shape, but his attitude wasn't. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my prediction. I mean, the face of the NBA, right? Not so much anymore.
Yeah, and think about that draft where he and Ja Morant, and you almost forgot about Ja last year. He missed so much time, uh,
And it's
down,
his fault.
yeah,
I mean,
down in Memphis.
he was hurt, but then he did stupid stuff. There's another face of the NBA
Right.
that, you're doing stupid stuff, man. And, but he's so talented, so talented. I mean, if he ever got it, in his head and got balanced with his life, I mean, the sky's the limit for that dude. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, and you mentioned Paul George. The Clippers tried to get a deal done with him, but they couldn't make it happen. So now he's gone. That's a big hole in that roster uh, in LA.
Yeah, it's also a big salary cap
Yeah,
advantage. I mean, I don't know what his contract was, 40 million maybe, something like that. It was something like
I'm
that. So,
looking it up
so now
now.
you could go out and get. I mean, playoff George, right? They hadn't been in the playoffs very much.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm looking for that. I can't see it. I can't find it.
it's probably 35, 45 million, whatever that is. Who knows? But that's open for the Clippers to use now. Who, is like they're like the fourth highest paid team in the league that finished 10th in the West. So, you know.
Yeah, that West is really going to be something next year. Phoenix has been kind of quiet when I think about them.
Yeah, and I mean,
Of course, it's early too. We're only in day two, but
yeah, but I mean, well, you got Booker, you got Beal, and you got KD, and then what do you pay? Is it probably, the salary cap I think is 140 million this year, and that's 120 of it right there, three guys. So
yeah, and
I mean,
they did sign Mason Plumlee, who's a good solid player, give you 15, 20 minutes of solid play. Big man.
they never got. I don't know how many games they played total together last year, but it wasn't very many. So
It wasn't
if
many.
you're the Suns, you don't know what you have. You don't even know if that works. Does it work? I don't. Who knows? You don't have enough data to tell you if those three work together. Now, so hopefully they stay healthy this year and they see. But you know, you're looking at Minnesota and OKC and Denver and all these teams. I mean, Dallas, who just picked up Klay Thompson. I mean, you know. It's going to be interesting. The Wild Wild West is getting wilder and better.
Oh, and hey, we also got some coaching news right here in Motown. JP Bickerstaff is joining the Pistons. Uh, they do have a coach now. I guess that's a good step, Mo.
Yeah, I mean, I know
And they signed Cunningham to an extension.
Yeah, I mean, I know JB for a long time. He was a scout on the road with me. I saw him a lot when I was in Dallas. He was a scout for his dad, I think, and he's a proven coach. He knows what he's doing. He's a good relator to the players. But let's face it, they're paying their other coach $60 million more or whatever that is.
65.
So I'm sure JB signed for $5 or $6 million a year or whatever. So add that onto your coaching salaries for the rest, and you could be the best coach in the world, but with that roster, you're not going to make. I mean, if you get lucky, maybe you make the playoffs at playing, maybe.
And there's also news out of Boston, and I'm looking here in my wallet to see what I got. The Celtics are for sale, Mo. I got 20 to put on the purchase of the Celtics.
All you need is about 4.5 billion more. You can add that.
I got 20. Anybody out there want to chip in with us, man?
You can't even get in my skins game for that, Ricky. Put that 20 away.
Does it shock you at the money that is going around in the league now? And you guys were well paid for your time when you played, but now it's just
Yeah, some were, some weren't. I mean, but it's the product, right? If you have a great product and it brings money in, then the value of everything goes up. The value of teams, the value of how much you sign for your contract, your players make, everything goes up. I mean, the NBA is getting ready to sign, I think, a $79 billion TV deal, I think, something like that. So, they've just done a great job. And let's face it, when I came in the league in '79, with Bird and Magic, the finals weren't even on live TV. They were, I think I saw something the other day. David Stern was talking about, yeah, TV picked to put soccer on instead of the NBA back then. And back then, soccer was no one even knew who that was. That's what the situation was. But the product has gotten great. Advertising, the marketing. I mean, let's look at the Boston Celtics. That ownership group bought the Boston Celtics 22 years ago for $360 million. It's worth over $4 billion now after 20 years. So you figure out the value. Now, when you look, I don't know. Like my guess is, with tax, luxury taxes, and all that. Most NBA teams are looking at, they're probably paying around 200 to 250 million for player salaries. You're looking at probably another 13 million for coaches' salaries, and you're looking at another 13 million for front office, general managers, scouts, and all that. So you're at 300 million. That's your expense next year. You sure you want to buy the Celtics? And that's not including travel, insurance, business operations, ticket sales, marketing, all that stuff. That's not, and how much it costs to play a game in your arena. So, you're looking at, probably close to $500 million of expenses every year. So
wow.
You'll put that $20 away. But obviously it's working. I mean,
yeah. Hey, Steve likes Dallas going back to the finals. I do want to talk about, we mentioned Clay signing there early, but man, Kyrie needs that ball. Luka needs that ball. How did you make Clay fit in?
Well, I think Clay fits perfect because he never dribbles. He can score 30 points without dribbling but 10 times. He's perfect. So, now instead of passing to Maxi Kleber, right. You're not passing to Maxi Kleber. You're passing to Klay Thompson, who shoots 42% from the three. Hello. Yeah. And Luka and Kyrie are both willing passers. They over dribble, in my opinion. But, I mean, if I'm Clay, I'm in heaven. I mean, that's like having two Steph Currys on the team, right? That everybody has to keep an eye on. Guess what? I'm going to be over here. It's like this. Here I am. I'm right here. Where is he? I mean, that's a perfect fit to me. And then, so now he not only does he open up the lane for Kyrie and Luka, but he opens up the lane for roles by Gafford and Lively. So the lane is opened up because Clay's out there. You can't help off of Clay. Am I going to help on the lob to Lively if Clay's sitting there, ready, locked and loaded for three?
No. So
that's a perfect fit for Dallas, and I think it's a perfect fit for Clay, all at the same time.
Yeah. Hey, Mo, you're in Vegas. The rookies will be coming out there to play in a bit. And you'll probably see a lot of these guys, and I know you'll see a lot of your old friends that come out. If you get a chance to talk to some of these guys, what would you tell them to expect when they enter the league?
I think that, they need to be ready to manage their life on and off the court, because you're playing 82 plus games, over 100 if you're talking about preseason and playoffs. If you're on a good team, you're talking about 8 months of travel. Even though it's great, You're on a private jet. You're staying in 4 cities. You're still traveling. Time zones. Not much rest, not much practice time. Don't expect that. Once the season starts, you're not going to get to practice very much, and you have to take care of yourself. If I was a rookie, if I was one of those two French guys that were the number 1 or 2 pick, or whoever coming in the first, I would see if my agent can talk to LeBron James, his agent, and let me get a lunch with LeBron while I'm here in Vegas, because he's actually training for the U.S. Olympic team. And I'm going to do whatever he does. He's 40 years old. Look at him. And that's what they're going to have to expect. And it's going to be travel, a lot of games, more physical than you think, and mentally draining also. That's a lot of you got a mental draining. If you're a rookie and you're playing a lot, that's tough. You got a lot of pressure on you. If you're a rookie and you're not playing a lot, agent, friends, why aren't you playing? You were playing at Colorado. Why aren't you playing now?
You were the man at Colorado.
You were the man. Why aren't you playing? There's a lot of pressure, and it's mental, right? And you're going to have to deal with that. And there's going to be a lot of people coming after you. Hey, I got this idea. I got that idea. This is a great idea. Buy this restaurant. Here's a club. Let's do this. Let's do that. And you got to learn the word no, thank you. 2 words. No, thank you. And then a lot of them are going to have their friends, right? Trying to hang on. Hey man, you going on the California trip? Why don't you take me with you? Put me up. No, I don't think so. Not this time.
Don't have time for that.
And take care of your money. Start putting it away now. I don't shoot. I think that if you're a lottery pick, you're making, $2 or $3 million a year. After taxes, 1.5 million. Get yourself in a nice house. Buy a decent car. You don't need 5 cars. You can only drive one at a time. And then start saving your money. Just save your money and get a good tax accountant.
Hey Mo, we one rookie that'll be there will be Bronny James. What is your whole thought? There's been a lot of talk about the Lakers drafting him. I think with the 55th pick in the second round.
So first of all, nepotism. Oh, nepotism. Duh. Nepotism has been around forever. I mean, look, Bernie Bickerstaff, JB Bickerstaff. Hello. How do you think he got in the business? I mean, come on, man. It's been around forever. So what? And second of all, with the 55th pick, the second round, you can't get anybody anyway. I mean, you get a 4-year guy that played at UCLA or something, maybe can help you, or you get some European player who's 12 years old and maybe he can help you. Who cares? Bronny James is been through a lot. He's not did he deserve to be traded? No. I mean, drafted? No. Does Giannis's brother deserve to be in the NBA and he's with the Bucks? No. But Bronny he's only 6'1". That was a letdown to a lot of people. But he has a 6'7" arm span and a 38 or 40 inch vertical. So he's long, he's athletic, and he's a good defender with a high basketball IQ. He had a heart problem last year. He had to fight through also. So is that a bigger risk than some 17-year-old that plays in Uzbekistan? I mean, no, it's the same thing. Only that his dad's going to be on the team. Now, I would really, really hope, I know that his agent told teams not to draft him also, but he also told teams that he's not going to be a two-way player. I'm hoping he means he doesn't want to be a two-way player with the G League because of the salary, which is, I think, $250,000. I am hoping he doesn't want to be a two-way player because he wants to make minimum contract for the Lakers, which is, I think, $500,000 or $600,000, or whatever it is, but that he's still willing to go down to the G League and play. Because you're going to fly with your dad and he's going to train with you and all this blah, 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 but you're not getting on-court time. You're never going to get in a game, really, unless it's a blowout. So you need to go to the G League, which, contrary to what people think, that, it's about a bunch of players that really, aren't really pros or whatever, that's a bunch of crap. They're some of the most talented players. They're young. They need experience, and that's what they're getting. But you're a pro schedule, playing pro players, with pro referees and pro rules, and you get to play. I guarantee if he plays for the Lakers, which their G League team is right in their practice facility. It's perfect. You can practice with the Lakers and play that night with the G League team. It's perfect. And now you could get, I guarantee you'll get 30 minutes a game. That's how you get better. I hope that's what happens for him. But we'll see.
As we look, and we just got a couple more minutes, is it one player? Everybody talks about how weak this draft was. Is it one player you like that might surprise some people this year? Are all these guys maybe a year or two away from?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Ignite play here, and I think they had 3 first-round picks, I think, from the team. I watched them all play. And there's a player, Tyler Smith, that the Minnesota Timberwolves, my guy Chris Finch, picked up in the second round. 6'10" wing, long, athletic, plays defense, knocks down threes, handles the ball at 6'10" with a 7'1" arm span, that I think should have been in the first round draft pick. And I think he's going to fit in really great with Minnesota. There's a guy in the second round that I think is a first rounder. I saw him play. I saw him practice. I love this kid, and I would watch for him.
Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith,
6'10" from the Ignite. But
I was surprised. Connect fell all the way to 17 out of Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a great pickup for the Lakers because they got a guy, an older guy. I think he's 23 years old.
23. Why is he so old nowadays?
Yeah, but he shoots the three. He can put it on the floor. He's strong and physical, and he'll fit right in with that group. That's like a steal at 17. That's mind-boggling. Don't know why he dropped, because he was projected as a top 5 or 6 pick. But I know the Lakers, if I'm in that draft room and I'm watching him drop, I'm going, yes, keep dropping. Because at 17, that's a steal, man. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, well, Bo, we got to get out of here, man, with final seconds. Any final thoughts?
No, I think, Las Vegas here is the hub of basketball. We have Team USA is practicing here. Canada's practicing here. They're going to play an exhibition game. Then the summer league starts in a couple of weeks where all the teams will be here with all those young draft picks when they're signed. And if you're a basketball fan and you're out there anywhere in this country and you want to really see some basketball, come to Las Vegas. And I'm not getting paid for this ad. Come to Las Vegas. Ricky, you've been here. And you, for 38 or 40 bucks, you can go. They have 2 games going at UNLV at the same time, the small gym and the big gym, and you could go back and forth. They're separated by a half hour, and you can watch, I think, 8 games in a day for 40 bucks. And it's first come, first serve. You got to get in there and get your seat. But Steph Curry, all these guys played in the summer league. So if you're a basketball fan and really and you can walk around. And you might, walk into Larry Bird walking down there, or
Big Mo
staff, or no, you won't see me because my days over there are pretty much gone. But it's really exciting in Vegas at this time of year for basketball, the basketball world.
Hey, well, Paul, we got to get out of here, man. As always, brother, I really just love doing this show with you, and we appreciate everybody from Sports Fluent checking in. Keep checking back with us. We'll be back next Monday at 9 o'clock. For Big Mo, Paul Mokeski, I'm Rick Hampton.
Subscribe.